And hopefully this helps you out with some of the questions you're having too. I'm going to begin step-by-step example, and then we will hopefully be able to get these all figured out. All right. So for example, this first one, this is a start of a proof, all right? So they give us kind of what's given over here. We have angle GUW is congruent to angle XMR, and also the measure of angle GUW is equal to 60 degrees. And eventually, after we fill out a bunch of things on the right side of the screen, we're going to get the measure of angle UMR and what its specific degree measure is. All right, so here let's see what it tells us. It says it wants the measure of angle GUW, and we have that is given to us. Remember, it's given on the other side. So we're going to say is given, and specifically it is 60 degrees. I'm going to hit enter there. Nice, and it does the next step for me. Now the next one, the measure of angle XMR, this one is not specifically given, but we can calculate it. So we're going to say is calculated, or can be calculated. And because those two angles were congruent, remember that's what that symbol means there, is also going to be 60 degrees. Now the reason for this is, like I said, those are congruent. So the nice thing about Mathia is if you type in congruent, it starts popping up what some of those different reasons are, and I can just hit this, and that is the correct reason. All right, so what angles are congruent? Well, both of these. The first one, GUW, and this other one is highlighted currently, which is XMR, right there. Nice. All right, and then lastly, it wants us to find this angle measure. And again, we can calculate this. It's not given to us, but we can figure it out. So it is calculated. And remember, this forms a linear pair. XMU is all on a straight line there. And if this part is 60, we can figure out this other part because a linear pair is made up of 180 degrees. And so 180 minus 60 is 120 degrees. And again, the reason for that was it is a linear pair. Talked about that in our last lesson. So which two angles make up the linear pair? Well, the highlighted one, which is UMR, where'd it go? UMR, and this other one, XMR, right, like that. All right, and it's 120, so I just have to put that at the bottom of my proof over here, 120 degrees. And nice, this one is done. So then we're going to hit go to problem. All right, let's try another one here. This time we have the given part is that OL bisects angle DOC. The measure of angle DOL is 50 degrees, right? And eventually we're going to try to figure out what COR is. So let's look at this other side first. I'm going to click this highlighted part. It says DOL. DOL, remember that was given to us in our given parts on the left side. DOL is 50 degrees. And if it's being bisected, this is also going to be 50, angle LOC here. Okay. However, it wasn't specifically given, but we can calculate it because this was an angle bisector. All right, so this is also going to be 50 degrees. The reason for that, if I just type this and start typing in bisects, let me move this up a little bit so you can see that. Again, if I just, in here, if I type in a random letter, look at all these different reasons. Or if I do a different one, you can see like that one wasn't correct. Oops, because, or here's some more. Remember, this needs to be bisects. So I'm going to type in the B for bisects, type in the I too, and there you go. It has bisects. Now, what is being bisected? Well, this whole angle, this big angle, DOC is being bisected to form these two smaller angles, DOL, this one, and this one, LOC. So DOL and LOC. Look at that. All right, so with that said, we need to now figure out this angle. This forms another linear pair like we had in the last problem, ROL. It's going to be 50 plus what is going to be 180. Since this is all on the line, it's going to add up to be 180. And 50 plus 130 is 180. So I got COR here. I can calculate this. We just did it. We said that's going to be 130 degrees. And the reason for that is, again, it's a linear pair like the last problem. Okay, so what forms a linear pair? I just have to say these two angles. The highlighted one, ROC. And if it does it backwards, COR, as long as your middle is still O, that's okay. And then what's the other one that formed is LOC. LOC. All right, so COR is 130 according to our calculations from earlier. So it's still mapped out on our picture there. 130 degrees. Got that one. And now I'm going to hit I am done. You can see we're getting close to those all being filled in up here. All right, what about this proof? This time I'm going to zoom in on this side. We are given that IB is, remember what this sign means? That is perpendicular. IB is perpendicular to IW. IH is perpendicular to ID. And also we're given three things this time. The measure of angle HIW equals 20. And we'll have to try to find measure of angle BID at the end. So BID will be the whole thing. So let's see if we can figure this out. So first off, this is given to us, HIW, remember from before, that's 20 degrees. So it is given, and that is 20. All right, this one is measure angle BIW. Well, if that's perpendicular, it doesn't specifically say that that's 90, but we can calculate it. And that is 90 degrees because that's the definition of a perpendicular. Type in perpendicular, definition of a perpendicular angle. All right. Similarly, this one is also going to be 90. Again, it doesn't tell us, but we can calculate it. 90 degrees. Same reason as before, perpendicular angles. Get that a little bit higher on the screen here. There we go. All right, so you can see our proof is starting to take shape. Now, the last part is BIH. Or maybe it's not the last part, but next part. BIH. What is this? Well, if you remember from before that BIW was 90 degrees, that is right here. If that's 90 and this one is 20, what's left over is going to be 70, right? 90 minus 20. So let's do that. Let's say this can be calculated. So we have 70 degrees for this guy. Now the reason for that is if I add those two up, if I do 20 plus 70, that is going to be my 90. So this is actually angle addition. And let's see, this is which angle? So angle blank and blank form the big one. So the two little ones form the big one. The little one here is BIH, BIH, and HIW, that one right there. HIW, those form BIW. Or, yeah, BIW. So if all that's true, then what do I have? I have 90, or I have, I should say 70, 20, and then this leftover parts. Or I could think of this maybe as, how about this 90? This 90 plus this 70 is going to be a total of 160. Maybe that's the way we should think of it. So I'm going to say BID is 160. All right. And I just have to write this out here. It can be calculated. We said it's 160. And the reason for that, again, is angle addition from before. So which two are being added? Well, we said it was this 90, the HID, and BIH. BIH. Those form BID, our last one. Okay, and I think there's nothing left for me to click on, so that should mean that I am done. And let's see if they give us, yeah, they give us one more here. I think that might fill us out, hopefully. Let's try it. What is this one asking? This one says that IQ bisects HID, and the measure of angle BIX equals 55 degrees, and eventually we need to find the measure of angle HID, okay? So we're going to use some bisectors. BIX is 55. Let's start with that. So this is given to us. Oops, let me zoom out all the way. That is given and is 55 degrees. Okay, this is a vertical angle with the 55. QID can be calculated. And it's also 55 degrees. And again, I said that's a vertical angle. So if I type in vertical, it starts to pop that in. Now, which two are vertical? Well, this highlighted one, DIQ, or QID, they have it backwards, and BIX. BIX are vertical angles. Okay, now it highlights this guy over here. It says HIQ. Can that be calculated? Yes, because it is being bisected by IQ. All right, so yes, it can be calculated. And it's going to be the same as this one because those are cut right in half. That's what bisecting means. So this is also going to be 55 degrees. And the reason for that is, again, it's being bisected. What's being bisected? So blank is being bisected to form this and this. So the big one is being bisected to form the two little ones. That's how I think of it, is small, small, big, or big, small, small. In this case, the big one is being bisected to form the two small ones. So the big one here is, let me get rid of that so I can see it. Sometimes it's putting it over your picture, you can't see it. So that's DIH, DIH, or HID. And that's forming this one, which is HIQ, and this one, DIQ, DIQ, QID. Okay. All right. And then what's it say? HID. HID. So together, 55 plus 55. Well, 50 and 50 is 100. Another 5 and 5 is 10. So this would be 110 degrees. Nice. Oh, we're close. We're not quite there yet. Looks like I might have to do another one. Nope, there's more work. Maybe that's why. Okay, I forgot to do this one. And that is that together, that's right. This can be calculated, and that's our 110. I got ahead of myself. I did it over on the other side. So if I hit enter here, this is going to be angle addition, I believe. So we can add those two up. And what are we adding up? We are adding up HIQ. Come on. HIQ and DIQ. QID. Those form HID, the big one. Just like that. Okay. Oh, is it going to make me do one more? I think it is. I'm not quite done over here, so let's try this last one. This should be the last one. We have that in our given, we have AR is perpendicular to AH, AX is perpendicular to AL, and the measure of angle XAH equals 30 degrees. Okay, and eventually we need to prove that the measure of angle RAL is some measure. Okay, let's try it here. We have, first off, this being given to us, it told me in the given over here that XAH was 30 degrees. So this is given 30. You'll notice that always that first one is given to you. You can't really start a proof without it being given. All right, and then this one, what's it tell us about this? This was perpendicular over there, so we know that that can be calculated with 90 degrees because the reason it's perpendicular angles. All right, and then this one, same thing. This is also going to be calculated 90 degrees as it's also perpendicular. And all right, so now I need this guy. Well, if XAL was perpendicular or formed 90-degree angle, then, and this one's 30, then I should be able to figure this out by doing 90 minus 30. So that can be calculated. 90 minus 30 is 60 degrees. The reason for that, if I add those two up, 30 plus 60 is 90. So this is angle addition. And what's being added? It says our two little ones, XAH. Oops. Come on. XAH plus HAL, the bottom one there. HAL. And that forms XAL. Nice, there we go. All right, so what do we have? We have that this is 90 plus this 60 should get us to be 150 for RAL. So let's click it. It can be calculated. We said it's 150 if I add that up. And the reason is, again, angle addition. And what am I adding up? I'm adding up this 90, XAL, XAL. Ooh, didn't like that one. Let's see. Can you add something else up? Let's get rid of that for a second. What else could we add up to get there? Oh, I guess I need this one. This one is, that's right. So let's do RAH and maybe HAL. That'll still be the same thing. So RAH, let's try that. RAH, there we go. And HAL, HAL, and together that forms RAL. Okay, and we said that was a total of 150 degrees here. Now I think we can click that we are done.